Good morning, YouTube. Welcome once again to Sunday morning live stream. I know it's early, so I don't expect too many to come in. I know I usually do when I do my live stream on Sunday. I do it on a little later, around 10, 11 o'clock. But unfortunately, I have to be somewhere at 10 o'clock, somewhere close, luckily. So try to do this in an hour, show all the books I got, and stuff I picked up from our local, what should have been Williamsport Comic Con. A lot of the guests that were slated for Williamsport Comic Con transferred over to, and they combined it with Free Comic Book Day at my local shop, my LCS, which is Isle of Comics on Southern Ave in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I know I've said this before, but if you're unfamiliar with South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, that is the home of the Little League World Series. That's where the Little League World Series is played. It's just up the road from me, about 20 minutes. But I got a couple pops to show. I'll show those quick, and then I want to say some words for a good brother in the community that we just lost. Good morning, poor Mike. How are you, sir? Drinking some coffee. I picked up the Green Arrow, the Smallville Green Arrow. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a big fan of Green Arrow, so grab that. And if you can't hear me, let me know. Rocket Raccoon, which my wife claimed. Woods. And Groot, which my youngest daughter claimed. And I also picked up, but I don't know what she did with it. For my oldest daughter, I picked up because I thought she would get a kick out of it, and it was a $5 pop. They call it the mashup, the imposter, the Riddler Batman imposter pop. I thought that was kind of cool. But unfortunately, yesterday, and it was a complete shock, not just to me, but to everybody. Edwin, the comic jabroni, passed away unexpectedly yesterday. And I want to share my condolences with Edwin's family and all those that were close to him. I didn't know Edwin really that well. Followed him on Instagram. Caught him on Rod Justarican's channel from time to time, and he was so enthusiastic about life in general. It's a big loss to the community, because he was always willing to share insights that he had learned as far as collecting, and he was just an all-around great guy. He was currently serving. In fact, he just got promoted in the military, which shared my congratulations with him when he made the announcement, um, and thanked him for his service. And just so not only we lost a member of the comic book community, we we lost a I don't want to call him a vet because he was still active. Um, we lost an active duty service member, and it just uh, I know everybody is in shock because I mean I don't know what happened, and it's really none of my business. Um, but it it is a concern. Uh, we can all come together and in this time and support Edwin's family, because they're going to need some prop. So uh, that being said, I'm going to switch my camera and start showing some books and stuff. Camera. Boom. All right. Uh, Out of respect for Edwin, I'm going to try to be as enthusiastic as he always was. Uh, Tony Atlas. I met Tony Atlas, man, um, at my local shop. Um, just a wonderful man, and I had no idea that he's 76, and I got to tell you, he looks awesome at 76. I mean, he's not as built and toned, but his arms are still huge. Um, just a wonderful individual. I got this one, and he signed it for me. Um, Great guy. Uh, Talk. Oh my, he likes to talk, and he spent while I was waiting in line, he was talking to a family, and he was trying to uh, get the point across that the kids nowadays weren't raised the way the rest of us were. Um, it's a different world, and everything he was telling this family was like spot on. Uh, so don't discount Tony Atlas. He's a very knowledgeable person. He's been around. Uh, very cool guy. Um, uh, Shout out for the local artist Bo Schmery. Um, I saw this one and I had to grab it. It's Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a troll. You gotta pay the troll toll, and he told me the story behind it. It was he was watching something, I believe he said on YouTube, about people were highlighting bridges, and he's like, "That's perfect." I got the first thing that popped into his mind was trolls, and he said I had to do it. So I picked that up. Another local artist in the Williamsport area, Chris Ring, very talented artist. He's got some children's books out, and he's got a book he's going to be coming out on in Action Labs Studios. But I had to pick up some of his stuff. So, Warlord, uh, beautiful piece. This one was for my wife, but shout out to several turtle fans in the community. Seawater 19, uh, Who Dat, comics and movies, and of course, Edwin, comic jabroni was a big fan. But my wife is a big Raphael fan, and I saw this and I had to grab that for her. This I picked up for my daughter. I thought this was pretty sweet. And even though his signature was already on these prints, he was nice enough to sign all of them. So, and of course, Moon Knight. Uh, I'm steadily becoming a big fan of Moon Knight, despite the fact that I have not read a word. Um, I have that OG run. Um, I have some of the stories um, before Volume 1 of Moon Knight. Now, these books I picked up on my trip down to Lancaster on Monday. I went down to Mechanicsburg first and visited Comics Connection, um, one of two stores, and picked up a lot of books in there. And then I went over to York and hit up uh, Comic Store West. Now they didn't have much for back issues, but from what I understand, they had just done a blowout sale. Um, and that was the same case with Fourth Wall Comics over in Lancaster. When everything opened back up, uh, they had a big sale to clear out inventory. Um, so they didn't really have a lot of older back issues. It was mostly majority of it was from about 1985 to the present. Uh, and I'm honestly gonna say the majority of it was within the last 20 years, to be honest with you. Um, and they didn't. It's the way I read it, but they didn't particularly care for my Google review because I said as much. It was I my exact words were not enough older back issues for my taste, and they messaged me back on it, and uh, the vibe was that they didn't care for it. But scared to go down the rabbit hole. Oh yeah, yeah. I try to when I go to cons, I try to pick up a couple pieces of original art and indie creator books, which I picked up some stuff. But the at Comic Store West, I came across this, which I was like, wow. Uh, I didn't know they had released the uh, the soft cover volumes of the Goon Omnibus. But I love that a bunch of old crap. Um, Now I already had what was in volume one. I already had, um, so I thought I'll grab volume two. Um, Happy to have that. It's beautiful. Um, maybe I'll do might do a review on my channel for it. Fun stuff in the back of it. I thought in an antique store as well, and I picked this up because it's a classic, and I don't have it. So, excuse me. But I picked this book up at Fourth Wall Comics over in Lancaster a little later. That was my last stop. Um, and I was like, ooh. DC graphic novels. Warlords. I had ordered a bunch of books from an eBay seller a few months back, and this was one of the ones that I ordered, and then they refunded me the money for it because apparently they no longer had it in their inventory. So I was like, well, that sucks. But when I saw this, I was like, oh, I gotta grab that. I picked these four books, added to uh, the Epic Illustrated lot or run. So I think I'm down to less than half of that run to get. Um, but these I picked up at the York comic comics connection store. I was happy to see those. So that was number 9. And this is number 12. Some of the Merit of the She Wolf story in Weird World. Number 16. Barry Windsor Smith goodness is in this. Number 16, I believe, is the first solo Dreadstar story. I can't remember what that is. And number 14, great Eric Elric of Melnibone cover. Shout out to my LCS. They're having a huge sale, November 12th. And they are going to be pushing out a lot of their inventory. They're overstocked, thousands of books. If you have anything that you're looking for, you can shoot them a list. They are on Facebook at Isle of Comics, Instagram at Isle of Comics, and that's their address and information. I've also put that. I will also put that stuff in the description below later on. But so yeah, they're having a big end of summer sale. Anxious for that. 50-cent dollar items, stuff like that. I want to shout out to Bo Schmary, the guy that did the Frank the Troll. He is on Instagram. His Instagram name slips me right now, but yeah, if you type that in, you'll be able to find him. James Murray, Hardcore Studios, artist, creator. Craig Reset, Bad Tiger Studios. Mr. Lobo was also there, who does a podcast dealing with like the old late night horror type stuff. He's a pretty cool guy. And Bestow TV is their Instagram. They're also available on YouTube and Facebook. They do a podcast, and the podcast is called Sleepless Nights. And then I met two indie artists, Bryn Island Artworks. There's Bryn's information. And Bryn is a very talented local artist. And he co-creates at times with Mike Hunter, Imagination's Drain. There's his Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. Mike Hunter does 3D art, uh, and it's really cool. And I love the back of his card. I mean, it's also on the front card, but it the front of the card. But good morning, Hialeah. How are you, sir? Yes, Mike. Those are short stories in Epic Illustrated. Um, I picked up this deck of playing cards from Mr. Lobo, which he signed. And it's a match game. It's like Old Maid, and Mr. Lobo drew all the characters on the cards. And I saw the cards there, and I had to get a set of them. There. It's pretty cool. Since Hialeah missed it, I met Tony Atlas, brother. Hell of a nice guy. If you ever get the chance to meet him, do it. If you haven't, but and he will talk your ear off. All right. I picked this book up for my wife. She's a big Captain America fan, and um, been trying to get her some of the Jack Kirby stuff, the more affordable Jack Kirby stuff. So that's issue 107. Um, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Kirby book. Uh, and then 222, Ernie Chan cover, Abe Lincoln. Been attacked by crooks and spies, even aliens, but a statue? So I picked those two up for my wife. This book, though I already had it, I was glad to get it. The gentleman in the community, his friend, local guy. You've seen him in my chat. You've heard me mention his name, Kenny. That's One Wolf Gun. He saw me and he said he saw this in the box for $1 and he had to grab it. He knew how I felt about World War Tales, and so he grabbed that. And this is an AOK from Kenny. He says, "Hey, I thought you would like this," and I do. Even though I already had it, that's a great cover. I love that cover. Now, this is Bad Tiger Press. This is Craig. I got to look. Yeah, this is Craig Russett. This was signed by both the artist and the writer. Unfortunately, I can't remember which is which, but I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty sweet. I like that." Uh, Rorschach Entertainment. Lucifer Fox. Blood Flow. Kind of like a Batmanish kind of character, except he's wielding an axe. From Hard Cool Studios, uh, James Murray. Picked up Curse of the Mummy's Stone. These are odes to old horror, pulp movies, stuff like that. The interior of this one is done in that classic horror style. Bride of the Promethean, classic horror comics. And since it was combined with Free Comic Book Day. I went and grabbed some of the books that are out. I also picked that Wicked uh, Three Jokers poster up for my oldest daughter. She's a big Joker fan. She said that's pretty cool. So, the Ballad of Franklin Bonesteel. It just looks like a noir book. So, or the Shreveport Kid. Dragonfly and Dragon Man from Ahoy Comics. I think I've picked some of their stuff up before. The Tick from New England Comics Press. And this is all, the interior is all in color. So that's kind of cool. Used to seeing that stuff in black and white. And The Resistance from J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Diodato. This is one of 6 previews of Bite Size from Cullen Bunn. Had to pick this sweet cover up. Charlton fighting army. Don't miss battle action in the Alps. Soldiers in the snow. Also, combat giants clash in mud in the cleanup. Okay. This is where the big snacks basically start. If you saw my recent IG video, I unboxed or opened these up. The Weird War Tales number 90 and number 83. Beautiful George Evans cover. Number 90 was a Joe Kubert. Issue 21. I believe, I'm not positive, but I think this is Louis Dominguez. And Louis Dominguez is quickly becoming one of my favorite Bronze Age artists. This also might be a Louis Dominguez. So this is issue 24. Beautiful, beautiful book. Beautiful book. Issue 27. Issue 38. Awesome Joe Kubert book. Your cover. Thanks for stopping in, Mike. Appreciate that. Take her easy, man. Tony and Rocky Johnson. He had some prints uh, of them together. The one was the Hall of Fame print. I thought about getting one of those, but I wasn't a huge Rocky Johnson fan. So I couldn't. I don't know. I guess I just didn't. um, issue 51. Pretty badass. Joe Kubert. Joe Kubert did most of the Weird War Tales run. Number 52. I love that cover. Skull. Shout out to Spider Grandpa. I know he likes his skull covers. I cleaned up a lot of missing holes in my Weird War Tales run. I think I have 76 issues from that run, and it's a 121 issue run or 124 issue run. Issue 53. This is a beautiful cover too. I'm not sure who did this one. That last one was Jay Aparo though. But this one, I don't. I'll have to do some research on who did this one, but this copy is in beautiful shape. Issue 59, issue 72, and I like this. You could be a winner in the second Superman movie contest. Details inside. Issue 78, pretty cool Space Odyssey type cover. Being attacked on past Native Americans on winged horses. So that's kind of scary. Winged horses. And they're not really Pegasus. They're kind of like pterodactyl wings. Issue 99. Uh, Join a desperate race through the gauntlet of giants. That's not how you spell gauntlet. Whatever. Number 107. Medusa. The creature commander is one plan. World War Tales. World War Tales story. GI Robot. Toward the end of the run, um, they became more. Oh, that was already talked about earlier. This one here. They became more centralized on. They had central themes, cricket winners and GI Robot, um, as opposed to the beginning of the run where it was anthology style. I picked up First Baby Cable as an X-Force fan. Had to get it, and picked this one up for a pretty decent price. I picked this book up because it's gonna fall. I'll show some. Picked another one up in the Mr. Miracle run, issue 12. Um, Working on a little bit of X Factor. Grabbed 13 and 15. Anyway, I picked this one up at the con because it has a Doug Wheeler signature in it. On whoops, I don't know if you can see that, but it's dated. I don't know when he signed it. A friend of mine has a Swamp Thing with a Doug Wheeler signature in it too, so I might have to send him pictures to see if it's the same. But that was why I picked that one up. And we all know why I picked this one up. It's some sweet Bernie Wrightson stuff. Um, Help me in heaven's name. Somebody help me. I'm being carried off by the beast that walks like a man. It's pretty spooky. Pretty spooky looking beast. Only the way Wrightson could do it. Excuse me. American Comics Group. I'm steadily becoming a big fan of American Comics Group. I picked this one up. Silver Age goodness. Adventures into the Unknown, number 157. Gripping Tales of Suspense. I thought that was a pretty cool cover. J. Kafka. Um, so I started grabbing. I had a goal in mind was the Weird War Tales, and the first shop I went to in Mechanicsburg, the Comics Connection, they didn't have a lot of Weird War Tales. The only one they had was the Frank Miller uh, issue, and I wasn't willing to pay. I think they had a $75 price tag on it. I'm sorry, but just because Frank Miller, it was like his one of his first. I don't know. um, Frank Miller, in my opinion, is overrated, and I know. How dare you? But I dare. So I started grabbing some of the Sergeant Furies. So issue 21, issue 24, issue 27. Fury fights alone. At last, the origin of Fury's eye patch. So shout out to Jay Blitz. And buddy, I picked a lot of books up, especially a lot of Sergeant Fury. Sergeant Fury number 32. Love that cover. This one was one of the ones that was reprinted in the later issues with a different background, I believe. Number 83, number 84, number 107, 108, 110, and it's marked up here. Looks like a 2 out of 25. I don't know what that means. That's a Severn cover. Number 113. Beautiful, beautiful cover. Number 117. Now I had this book uh, in the original books that I had from when I was a kid. That copy's pretty rough shape. This is a lot better shape. It's not as faded. That other copy has a lot of spine wear. I think part of it is split. But this one is definitely an upgrade from that one. Issue 119, issue 130. Yeah, I picked up a bunch of the Weird War Tales over at the second Comics Connection store in York. And I was very happy to get those. Um, but after I left there, I went over to the comic store in Lancaster. I'm here. It's 20 minutes away, so I just drove over, and that's a beautiful store. If you're ever in Lancaster, definitely check out the comic store. What the name of the street is, but it almost looks like an old trolley depot because it's not quite a railroad station, but it just the shape of the building reminds me of a trolley hut, a trolley office building, whatever you want to call it. But I walked in there and I was like, "This is a back issue paradise." And he was getting ready because this weekend they were having a collectors convention. Um, which I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to. So I'm glad I went down that way because I got quite a few of the World War tales there, and a bunch of the Sergeant Furies. Issue 137, issue 138, issue 152. This is one of the ones I picked up at the comic store. Yeah, he was. I kind of felt bad for the guy because people were coming in and he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to get uh, trying to get everything ready. He's getting stuff priced for that show, and I think he puts that show on too. So it's um, issue 153, beautiful cover. 156, a little bit of Dum Dugan, the court martial of. And I picked those up. You saw those prices, cheap, 250. I mean, yeah, they're well loved, but the majority of my collection is well loved. In issue 161, and that's the end of the books that I picked up. Um, I did my I recorded a video at my LCS. I did it's the first of the shop tour um, series that I wanted to start doing, highlighting LCSs, and I encourage everybody else to do so. Um, in these strange times that we're living in right now, our LCSs need our attention and friendship more than ever. Um, so look for that. I did some editing and it was processing. And the last time I did some editing on a video, it took 3 days for the dang thing to process. So we'll see what happens. I thought about trying to slip an intro into it at the beginning, but I'm not that savvy. So it'll be introless. If I was going to do an intro, I should have done it right there before, but it turns out it's a good thing I didn't try to do the intro because we were halfway through the video and realized I was not recording. So we had to start over again. But a big shout out to John over at Isle of Comics for helping me with that video. And a big shout out to Joe and Tracy for allowing me to come into their shop and do the video. It's very appreciative. I'm hoping the next one will be Comics Metropolis in Lewisburg, but they didn't get back to me with an answer of whether I could. And there's also another shop just across the river from them in Montandon that I would like to. Yukon Comics and Cards, but I'm not sure. I definitely have to talk to that guy beforehand. I'm not sure he's going to be too receptive on that end as far as doing a tour of his shop. We'll see. There's some other ones that I recently visited that I would definitely. I talked to the guys down at the Comics Connection shop in York. I told them I have a YouTube channel, and they seemed okay with it, and they laughed about the mask situation, and that's just the way it was. But anyway, look for that shop tour video sometime this week. I will announce it on my Instagram. Down by the river, exactly. Um, but yeah, look for that shop tour video sometime next week. I'll do a bump announcement on my Instagram, uh, and I want to thank everybody for stopping by who did. Um, Everybody who commented, hi Leah and poor Mike, appreciate it. Everybody who stops by and watches on the rewind, thank you, I appreciate you. And again, my condolences to Edwin's family, Comic Jabroni. Um, he was a great member of this community, and we're all going to miss him. There's no other way to put it. I mean, I still don't, I can't. It's one of those things that you can't wrap your head around. Um, like I said, I didn't know him that well, um, beyond following him on Instagram and having some brief comment interactions. But uh, keep them in your thoughts and your prayers if you are religious, and um, uh, be supportive. In the meantime, keep collecting, keep reading, and keep sharing.